Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the Snowy Princess scarf. This is a pretty scarf you can make for a little girl, and it's crocheted in a stripe sequence, and I've used a combination of post stitches to create sort of a highly textured basket weave pattern. And when we have the color changes, it makes for kind of a stitchy, almost looks like a running stitch in embroidery when the colors change. So this is a really fun project to crochet. And I finished it off with some pretty snowflake appliques that are completed in just one round. So for this project, you're going to need a 6mm J crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and you'll need some worsted weight yarn. I used Red Heart Super Saver. I really like using this yarn when I'm crocheting for kids because it's a very hard-working yarn and it's washable, and I've made lots of things where I can wash it lots and lots of times and it holds up. So the colors I've used are, this is the Delft Blue, the Turquoise, the Orchid, and the White. I used the white for both the stripes and the snowflakes. So let's get started. The finished scarf measures about 6 inches wide, and I made mine 34 inches long for a child. And you can really make yours any length you want simply by working more rows and more stripes of the scarf. The scarf stripe sequence is 6 rows of each color, and then in between each color is 3 rows of the white. So I'm going to begin with this turquoise. Feel free to use any color combination you like. I chose this. This is a very kind of popular color palette for little girls right now. So I was inspired by some of these snowy, wintry colors. Okay, so what you're going to do is put a slip knot on your hook. To make a slip knot, wrap the yarn around your fingers, make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your crochet hook, and bring up a loop. We're going to begin with a starting chain of 24. To make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So for row 1, in the 4th chain from the hook, this loop here on our hook already does not count. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to work a double crochet. To make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into the chain, bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. We're going to work a double crochet in every chain across to the end as well. So double crochet in the next chain, double crochet in the next chain, double crochet in the next chain. Okay, we're going to keep doing this all the way across and we'll rejoin at the end. So we're coming up to the end, and again we've just worked a double crochet in each chain all the way across. And it'll look something like this. Okay, so let's move on to row 2. For row 2, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. This counts as a double crochet. So in the next double crochet, we're going to work a front post double crochet. So to create this basket weave, we're alternating front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet for this row. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook, and then you're going to come in around this post. See how I've gone up underneath the whole post? Bring up a loop, bring it back through the back, bring up a loop, yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. And it'll look like this. It looks like a tall column, okay? The next stitch, you're going to work a back post double crochet. Wrap yarn around hook. Now instead of going behind that post, you're going to take your hook and come in from behind, come around, so it looks kind of like that. Bring up a loop, come back through where you came, just like that. Yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. So it'll look kind of like that. It's the opposite of the front post. If you have never made these stitches and you want to master them, I have a video, one for the front post double crochet, one for the back post double crochet. So you can practice these over and over. However, this scarf is nothing but post stitches, so it'll allow you to get lots and lots of practice as well. But if you've never done these stitches, I recommend those videos as well, okay? So the next stitch, you're gonna do a front post double crochet. Again, come in behind that post like that. Bring up a loop, yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops, okay? So we're gonna do a back post again. So we'll do front post, back post, front post, back post, all the way across. So we'll do our back post, yarn around hook, bring it, come from behind, go over top of that post, bring up a loop, going the same way we came, yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Okay? So we'll do a front post double crochet in the next stitch, back post double crochet in the next stitch. We'll just keep alternating all the way across. Front post double crochet, back post double crochet. It's starting to already look very textured. So front post double crochet, back post double crochet. And again, this is a great way to practice these post stitches. And they're very easy to do, but they make your project look more intricate, and they offer a lot of great texture. And texture in crochet translates into warmth many times. This is a very warm, bulkier scarf than if we were just doing regular double crochet stitches. Okay, so we're just doing front post, back post, front post, back post. We're nearing the end of our row. Okay, back post. And you can see what it looks like so far, our progress that we've made. Okay, so we're going to do a front post, then a back post. Front post, then a back post. Now we've come up to our turning chain. We're going to treat our turning chain a little bit differently. This is what we have so far. So in the top stitch, just locate the top stitch of this turning chain, or the top chain, whatever you want to call it. Just work a regular double crochet in that very top chain. Might be a little fiddly. There we go. The very top chain of our turning chain from the previous row to finish off the row. So row 2 looks like that. Let's move on to row 3. To work row 3, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Okay, we're going to do the opposite of what we've done. So in the previous row, we started with a front post. So we did front post, back post, front post, back post. For row 3, we're going to reverse that. So we're going to start with a back post. You can use your previous stitches as a guide to figure out what to do. You'll just be doing the opposite. And that will give you this really nice basket weave effect. Okay? So let's begin. Do the back post, this first stitch here, and then a front post. Just like that. And then a back post. And then a front post. So we're just going to continue this all the way across. Back post, front post, back post, front post, all the way across to the end. And then we'll rejoin towards the end of the row. So I'm just finishing up the row here. And a back post. And a front post. And then again, you're going to finish the row off the same way we did in row 2. In the top chain of this turning chain from the previous row, just work a regular double crochet right into that chain right there. Okay? So row 3 is complete. To finish your scarf, you can see we're already developing this lovely basket weave pattern. To finish your scarf, you're just going to repeat rows 2 and 3 until the scarf is as long as you'd like it to be. Now again, I wanted to come back to the original scarf. We can set this aside for just a moment. I worked 6 rows of each color, the orchid, the turquoise, and the delft blue. And each color is separated by 3 rows of white. So there's lots of ways in your project to change colors. I'm going to just show you the way I like to do it. I like to do easy peasy, simple. So what I just do is just cut the yarn, fasten it right off. And whenever you're doing a project with stripes, I would recommend weaving the ends in as you go along. So just to change colors, again, if you have a preferred method of changing colors, definitely do that. So all you're going to do is insert your hook into that last stitch where you left off, pull the new yarn through, and then simply just tie it on. And again, when you're working in stripes, I would recommend weaving these ends in as you go along. But I'm going to show you how to just continue, okay? So now that we have our new color, again, we're just repeating rows 2 and 3, so we'll just keep going in the pattern. So you'll just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Okay, so the first stitch you come to, you'll just keep going because we're repeating this. This would be a front post double crochet, a back post double crochet, and so forth and so on. So that's how you switch colors. Okay, so then when you're finished, just keep repeating rows 2 and 3 in the stripe sequence until the scarf is as long as you want it to be. Next, we're going to work on these pretty little snowflakes. Okay, so with your white yarn, alternatively, you can get our blue yarn aside. Alternatively, you could make these in lots of different colors. I chose white because they were the most snowy looking. So let's do the snowflake. To make our snowflake, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. If we look at our snowflake, you can see these are worked in the round, and they're just one round. They're very quick and easy to make. For my scarf, I did just 3 along the bottom. You could completely cover your scarf if you want to, or you could just put one little one in the corner. Totally up to you. So you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then in the chain farthest from your hook, you're going to work a slip stitch, insert the hook into the chain, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. You now have a ring. You can kind of open it up a little bit. And this tail here, we're going to hold along the edge as we work our stitches, and that will weave it in as we go along. So to begin, we're going to single crochet, insert the hook into the center of the ring, bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then in the second chain from the hook, this loop here does not count. So 1, 2, we're going to work 4 single crochets. So 1 in the same chain, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that's going to give us each one of these little scalloped open circle edges. Okay, then we're going to work a slip stitch into the center of the ring, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. Then we're going to repeat this step 5 more times. So we have a total of 6 of these. Okay, so single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2. In the second chain from the hook, work 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Work a slip. We can kind of push this stuff over if you need to. We're going to have lots of stitches in the center. Work a slip stitch into the center of the ring, just like that. Then we're going to repeat. So single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2. In the second chain from the hook, 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Work a slip stitch into the center. And if you need to push things over a bit, you can do that. Okay, next one. Single crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2. Second chain from the hook, work 4 single crochets. We're just repeating this all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Work a slip stitch into the center of the ring. You can push everything over a bit. So now we have 4. We're going to do 2 more. So single crochet and chain 2. 1, 2. In the second chain from the hook, 4 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Work a slip stitch into the center of the ring. Okay, and then our last little snowflake point that we're going to make. So work a single crochet into the center, chain 2, 1, 2. The second chain from the hook, 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then at the base we're just going to join, actually I'm sorry, we're going to work a slip stitch to finish off that one, and then we'll join with a slip stitch into the other one to close. Okay, so it looks a little lumpy right now. That's okay, we're going to fix it. So just break the yarn, fasten it off, and then you can flip your snowflake over, and this tail that we wove in as we went along, just pull that really tight, trim the yarn. Okay, so again, it looks a little lumpy. Just shape it up with your hands. These are pretty small, so you'll want to just shape them up a little. Now leave this tail on because we're going to use that to sew it onto our scarf. Okay, So I have the finished scarf here. I'm just going to add another snowflake. So what you want to do is just take your tapestry needle and thread your tapestry needle just like that. Figure out where you want it to go. I'm kind of doing a stair step thing going on here. So I'm just going to put this one in the next logical location. And then all I'm going to do is just sew this right on. I wanted to give a tip about sewing these on. You want to sew it on. It's kind of a balancing act. You want to sew it on really, really well, because when kids wear these scarves, they're going to get thrown around and thrown on the floor and taken to school and things like that. So you want everything to be very, very, very secure. But at the same time, you don't want to overstitch it because it's going to flatten out your snowflake. You want your snowflake to still retain its appearance. You don't want it to be flattened out and one-dimensional looking. You want it to have a little bit of texture and still look like a snowflake. So it is really a balancing act, but just make sure these snowflakes are on really, really well. And that being said, if the snowflake falls off, you can just sew it back on. Or if it gets lost, you can just make another one. That stuff happens if you've ever crocheted for kids before. Okay? So just get that snowflake sewn right on. I'm just doing a quick job, but you want to definitely take your time on this kind of stuff. Make it nice and neat. Our snowflake's pretty secure. I've left a little bit of these kind of sticking up a little to give our snowflake some dimension. My tail has fallen out. So I'm just sewing all the way around. Rethread my tapestry needle. My tail was a little bit short. Okay, so I'm just coming around the perimeter here of this snowflake. Again, we're getting it nice and neat, nice and secure. Making sure everything's straight. And like real snowflakes, no two snowflakes will look exactly the same, just like a real snowflake. My tapestry needle keeps wanting to jump off here. There we go. And I'm just going to put that very last little stitch in. And then in the back, you can weave in the ends. Now this is actually a good opportunity to show you, see this little tiny tail that I have left? I want to show you a little trick. It's going to be kind of hard to thread this and try and weave this in. So go ahead and weave in your tapestry needle first, just so that eye is sticking out. Then when the tapestry needle is in the project, then go ahead and thread it. This is a little trick you can do. A lot of times you'll end up with these little teeny tiny ends. Okay, and you can do the same thing in the other direction. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's better than having this end sticking out. Let's turn this a little so you can see it. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and thread that. And you can do this, obviously, like I'm doing here, with the smallest little ends. You can go ahead and thread that in there. And it's fraying a little bit, so you can get that with the tiniest little ends there. There we go. Okay, so you can just pull it right through, and look, all gone. We just have the little teeny end sticking out. There we go. Okay, so our snowflake is attached. We've attached, and we now have 4 snowflakes. So our Snowy Princess scarf is complete. And this yarn is machine washable. Check the yarn labels for your particular yarn's instructions. And if you're giving it as a gift, be sure to include that information as well. So that is how you crochet the Snowy Princess scarf. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the red subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again.